I never thought I would say that I am a cam girl. What's up, demons? Welcome back to my channel. It is Danny and I'm here to talk to you about how I became a cam girl. First off, thank you for joining me. I am here today to talk about basically what camming is, how it's going for me, why I started, and just things like that. It's crazy because like I grew up in the generation of like AOL, having to unplug your phone. If you wanted to use the internet, you cannot use both at the same time. Talk about how strangers online are very dangerous, every single last one of them, and you should be very careful so terrible things don't happen. And I'm not dismissing that because I understand that does happen. Now, when you're an adult, there are safer ways to navigate the virtual world, and of course you always have to be careful, always. However, I love the fact that there's a lot of sex and sensual work that is virtual, because I don't like no type of in-person physical nothing, you know, anything like that. I never saw myself doing anything like that. I'm fully supportive of all sex work and sensual work. That said, it's just personally not for me, so I love the virtual aspect of it. I never thought I would say that I am a cam girl. And that's no harm, no malice towards, you know, the occupation. I'm just saying I never saw me doing it personally, just as who I am as a person and how I grew up and the way I thought and everything like that. And now I'm just over here like anyways, for those of you who don't know, camming is basically like getting online. It's like going live. Imagine you're going live on a social media site, except it's sexual. You got ass and titties out jiggling. And not always the case. There are some cam girls that will just sit and chat in like a cute little outfit, and they'll hang out in chat rooms and people will tip them just for existing and being cute. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, what a wonderful world. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful world sometimes. But it's basically like a sexual live, and people, mostly strangers, sometimes regulars, you know. I'm not gonna speak too much on it either because I'm still new to it, so I don't want to be like, hey guys, I'm, you know, trying to make it something cute or trendy. This is a world that has existed for years. I'm just now stepping into it, so I'm giving you my perspective as somebody who is not only an amateur but is new and may or may not be doing well. I'm just telling you the fact that I signed up and what I'm doing. But that said, you have strangers, you have regulars, you have people who may or may not know you. Now, usually I don't think that's the case, but mostly strangers and some regulars in your little virtual chat room, in your virtual live, and you're just kind of like, you know, like you're on TV. You're in your own little TV box, missing half of your clothes and doing whatever. Some cams are straight up, they're live porn. To be completely honest, it's a live sex show. Other ones, like I said, could just be girls just sitting, talking in their room, as I am now. I've done cams where I'm just like, hey guys, you know. And since I only do near nude and topless, I have mostly done my cams like this. I start off like this, I talk, I vibe with people. We've talked about anime, music, all sorts of stuff. Now, obviously, I'm not making bank, but I've met some really cool people. I've met some regulars, and a decent portion of those people have translated over to my OnlyFans, which is my main goal. I'm only really trying to get traction, exposure from my OF. I never was like, oh, I want to be a cam girl. Like I said, nothing wrong with it. I just personally never saw myself doing it or see myself doing it long term. It's kind of more of a means to an end type of thing. So yeah, that is camming. I am doing it, oh my gosh. And the site I use, I will put down, you know, the information down below. I heard it's one of like the more major sites. A lot of people are using it. And so I kind of already gave my reason. So I do have OnlyFans, and the reason that I started camming was because somebody in my OnlyFans inbox was like, hey, have you ever thought of camming? You can get more people over here, which has been true. I've gotten more people to my OF. I've gotten people that have immediately subscribed to my OF, which is free by the way, and then dropped hella bank on like my pay-per-view videos and content. If I didn't cam that day, I wouldn't have gotten that. So that's my main purpose of why I'm doing it. I logged on. Oh gosh, let's start from the beginning. So first off, I was so nervous. I was so terrifyingly nervous because I don't go live. Like, I don't go live on my Instagram. I don't go live on my Facebook, and I'm very heavily involved on my Instagram. I post a lot on my story. I'll post, you know, I'll go disappear for like 2-3 weeks, and then I come back with like a bunch of content, and I just spam post, and I disappear for 3 weeks again, then I reply to all my messages. You know, it's just a kind of somewhat bad habit. I use Instagram as desired, but not once have I ever just gone live and just, you know, because live scares me. Live, I'm a YouTuber, I'm used to editing it, and you know, I'm not saying make everything all clean and cute and perfect and pretty. I'm just saying I like being able to mess up and blah, 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 and trip over my words and go back and edit it out. You cannot do that when you're live because, you know, if you accidentally flash the kitty or you do whatever, you know, it's out there. It's out there. You can't take it back. You don't know if somebody's recording you. You don't know what's going on with the live. So I was really nervous because I never ever went live on regular social media. Why am I about to start now on like a sexual side? So of course I was like really scared, but I did it when I was on vacation with my friend, and I think that kind of gave me the courage to do it. I had just gotten my nipples pierced. Like, I was running off straight adrenaline. Oh my gosh, I got them pierced. They hurt, and I was just like first off, I made the decision to go topless on my OnlyFans, which I decided I was never gonna do. I was like, the world's never gonna see these tatas. And then I was like, these tatas are kind of cute though, and now they're pierced. I was like, the body's just the body. We're all gonna die one day. It don't even matter. We're all just floating around like in the middle of the universe on a rock. Like, it doesn't really matter. I'm just one more person exposing. But then I was like, maybe I'll start camming. So that night I hopped on, and the place we were staying at had like a bathroom where it was a double mirror, so it was one in front and one in the back. And so I just kind of like got cute, sat up in like little underwear, propped myself up, and like was talking to the camera, but the way my laptop was propped up, people could see the view, and that cam did pretty good. It was my first one. I had people in the chat just vibing, you know, stuff like that, and I was honestly there just to vibe and chill. Like, it was pretty freaking cool, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know anything about like apps and bots and tokens and how to make money or nothing. I was just on there vibing and advertising my OF because that was like my main goal. A lot of things had gone on that night, and believe it or not, within the first hour of me camming, I had already almost gotten scammed. Like, somebody sussed me out as a newbie because they could tell, they could smell you out. Oh my gosh, it's like when you go to a new place and someone's like, you're not from here, are you? Like, it was one of those. And so I was there like, hey guys, I wasn't even advertising I was new, but I had almost gotten scammed, which I'll talk about in a bit. But that said, it was a really cool vibe. It was super chill. You would think it's like a bunch of, oh, these are just pervy older men doing whatever. Nah, like, I actually met some pretty cool people my age, believe it or not. I've met people stationed over in different countries around the world. Like, I've had people add me on Instagram. These are just regular people. Not everyone. You're gonna have a lot of creeps and sleazes. You're gonna have plenty of them. You're gonna have a lot of freeloaders, which I'll get into that in a second too. And you kind of discover camming step by step, day by day. It's not like a sit down research, oh, I know everything. Like, for me, when I was using this site, every day I learned something new. I learned how to set up apps and bots and how to make money and everything. So, you know, but that said, you're going to have your mixed audience. It is going to be a lot of creepy people just ready to, you know, and in all fairness, how far can you go in calling them creepy because you're on a site for masturbating and chatting? Like, what do you expect? You're on a sexual site, so you can't get mad at people for being sexual, but you can moderate it in a way. And you just have to be careful, because I've had people where they're the coolest mofos ever. They've been putting me on to new music. Oh, listen to this. I be vibing. Oh, I'm rolling up right now. Here, listen to the song. I think you'd like it. I got people like that. And then I have people where and I feel like this happens a lot, and if y'all are regular cammers, I'm sorry if I sound naive and immature or whatever, but I had someone in my live and they were watching anonymously, and they kept, oh, a lot of them want to dirty talk. They want to dirty talk for free. You got to realize your time, your energy, your talk, everything, you can monetize if you want to. You don't have to sit there and entertain somebody's fantasy if you don't want to, or you can charge them for it. So I had somebody sitting there like, yeah, and what would you do if, and yeah, and how would you, I had one of those and tell me why I was on my phone. And I had my own broadcast pulled up, and so I pulled up that person's profile in the chat, and they were, y'all, I kid you not, while they were watching my feed and chatting to me in my feed, they were blast off 1, 2, 3, Happy New Year, stroking it out to my cam while talking to me. And I was just chilling talking like this, and it threw me so off guard because like I know what type of site I'm on, I know what I'm doing, but I had this like to actually see it like full nude. Thang was out and everything. His thang was thanging. Like everything was out. And I was over here. I was like, but I'm just sitting here talking. But you have to realize there are people who will just get off on you existing. You talking to the camera, you looking cute, you looking pretty. They're like, that's enough for me. You don't even need to pull out the goodies. Like, it's cool if you do, but you don't even need to pull them out because I'm already having a jolly old time over here. And like I said, you have to monitor the extent to which you get pissed off, because you have to remember the nature of what you're doing, but you are able to moderate, you know, the type of audience you have and how you're presenting yourself and the type of vibe you want in your own chat room. Like, you still have full control over the type of chat room and energy you want. Of course, you're gonna have people come in, but you can get people to moderate. You know, your moderators that'll like kick people out the chat if they're doing too much, or if they're being cheap and they're freeloading and stuff like that. So you are able to control your chat room. You don't have to put up with people like that, like, oh, I'm a cam girl, I gotta talk and do this. And you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, even on a site where people are just straight up raw dog and like, you don't, believe it or not, you can sit there and chill. So that said, for those of you who are curious about the cash, I'm sure that's what you want to know too, because while it's cute to make friends on, you know, sites like that and bada bing bada boom, have a good time and good vibes, you have to pay your bills, which I completely respect. So the one thing I found that I'm not impressed with camming, and I'm not sure if this is universal on all sites, but I found it for the one I'm using, tokens. So to make things, I guess, look polished and different or whatever, when you're in your cam, you're basically trying to get people to make it virtually rain on you. You want them to make it virtually rain. Imagine you are in a virtual strip club doing dances and tricks, or you're talking, or you're, you know, feeding your energy and who you are, and you are trying to get them to, ooh, yeah, you're cool, you're a cool gal. Oh, cool butts, oh, cool, you know what I mean? You're trying to get them to spend their dollars on you. They're called tokens on the site that I use. I think a lot of sites are like that, where instead of being like, oh, so-and-so tipped you $1, oh, so-and-so tipped you $2, it'll be like, so-and-so tipped you tokens. If you need to get a sticky note and write down the conversion of what tokens equal to actual money, go ahead and do that, because I did not do that when I first started, and so people would tip me tokens and I was like, wow, someone tipped me 15 tokens. I'm rich. Maybe in Mario money you're rich, but in the real world you're not rich, baby girl. So I found out just recently, I've cammed like maybe I've gone on like 8 to 10 times now, and I found out that each token is 5 cents. So you need a good amount of tokens to actually make money. Would you believe that? Oh my gosh. So yeah, every token is like 5 cents. So if you're not able to do the quick math when you get tipped tokens, you should just have a sticky note showing the conversions like right next to your computer or somewhere, or just start memorizing them so you're not doing too much for too little. Because I would see 5 tokens and I was like, wow, mama's eating good today. Mama's eating a bag of Cheetos, y'all. Like, don't. Nah. Do not be fooled. Like, do not be fooled. Tokens are not an accurate representation of like actual money. 5 tokens does not equal $5. Not that I thought that, but I'm just letting you know. So you'd have to do the math, and you have to know your worth based off real money and tokens. So just be aware of that. So if you're like, oh, somebody tipped me, you know, a lot of people hit with the 1 token, and you're like, okay, somebody just tipped you 5 cents for like, there you go. And it's not necessarily an insult, but it's just kind of like, you're cool, I guess, you know. Any type of interesting broadcast, if you're, you know, doing the thing, and then of course, you know, more people will tip. Here's something to be aware of too, though. Don't expect people to just get in your broadcast and see you doing the most, titties out, ass out, whatever you got, kitty cat, like fully out, and just immediately start tipping you. People will freeload on a free show if you're willing to offer it. That's one thing I picked up. So a lot of people have things called tip menu, where people can go in the chat and they see, hey, if you want to see me twerk, it's 100 tokens. If you want to see me flash my titties, it's 100 tokens. You know, they have a tip menu where you can do things for a certain amount of tokens, and you know for a fact somebody has paid you to do this thing. So you're not just out here putting on a whole show and people are just watching like, wow. All right, well, thanks. You know, like, so you gotta make sure you're getting paid during your broadcast if you're trying to actually make some money. You're not just on there for free. Be mindful of certain scams. Make sure you look them up. 2 that I know of so far that I'm pretty sure have been used on me is when you get tipped, it'll get posted in the chat and it'll say, hey, tipped this amount. If your sound's on when you're recording, it'll make a cha-ching noise. Some people will copy and paste that text and make it look like they tipped when they did not tip. So that's one thing to watch out for. I'm pretty sure somebody did that to me. And you should actually scroll up and check your like token balance because it updates live time too to make sure you're actually getting those coins. Another thing, some people will ask for a private show, but they will ask you to put a password on the room. Do not do this, do not do this. I almost got fooled into it and I left real quick because I didn't see my token balance. Always look for your token balance going up. I didn't see mine going up, so I was like, yeah, this feels like a scam. So somebody got me in the room. They're like, set a password so only I can view the show. So I set a little password. I told them the password. So the one person was in the show. That's not how you do a private show. They will actually have like a pop-up that says, hey, so-and-so wants to do a private show with you at this rate, blah, 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 blah. Bada bing, bada boom, do you accept? That's the only official thing you should be looking for. Passwords and all of that, no. And this person was really nice too. They're like, set a password. And then I set the password. I was like, so what's up? And I was sitting there. I was like, no, this is weird because I don't see my token balance going up. I didn't do anything. I was just sitting there talking and they were asking me questions. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get out this little private show. I wasn't even in there for like more than a minute. And then as soon as I got out, like somebody in my regular chat, because my regular chat, like my broadcast chat popped back up. Somebody's like, oh, no, don't do that. Like, sweetie, that's a scam. Don't do that. Any type of password, anything, don't do that. I was like, yeah. They're like, good job. You figured it out pretty quick. I was like, yeah, cool. But that's another thing. And if you decide to do a private show, see if your recordings are on, because if you do have it set on, like mine were on by default, somebody could actually do a private show and then record you, and they could be super cheap with it, have you in there for like a minute and be like, oh, do this, and obviously don't take demands. Like I said, it's your chat room, this is your virtual world. Okay, yeah, you're trying to make your coins, but you don't need to do whatever people are ordering you to do. So just be mindful of your recording settings and whether you want to be recorded, because somebody could have you hop into a private room for like what, a couple minutes, and you're over here doing whatever, or even less than a minute. They spend barely any tokens and then they have a whole recording they could just play back over and over again, which is not fair to you. So yeah, but those are the biggest things I learned so far. I just added my payout method, and they have a certain pay schedule where it's like you gotta cash out your tokens by a certain date and then they pay you by a certain date. So yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. I've cammed a couple times and I just do like twerk sessions. That's pretty much it. That's, you know, I haven't had to do much more, which is pretty great. And I made like 70 bucks off a couple logins. So far 70 bucks. So I can only imagine if I stick to like an actual schedule and get consistent with it. And I feel like that's pretty good because I literally will just be in like cute little panties and like a sweater like this, and I'll get cute and I'll just talk to people and vibe, and they'll sometimes just tip me for existing, which is lovely. Sometimes they'll tip me for like a little twerk or whatever. It just depends on, you know, how you want to run your chat room. You don't have to do the most. So yeah. That's honestly just kind of like a starter type of thing. You log on, make your account, you do your verification and everything like that, and next thing you know, you're live. I think that was like the most anxious thing for me, was actually hitting live and then being live and then just rambling and saying words and not able to edit them, like they're just on the internet somewhere. Like well, so that said, be mindful of what you say, be mindful of what you do, and be mindful of what you show, because anybody could be recording if they wanted to. You never know. I'm still very new to the site, so I can't speak on it too much, but I do see how it's a way to make cash, especially if you're consistent and if you get regulars. If you have those people, you see those usernames, you're like, oh, that's so-and-so, they tip me really well. Oh, that's so-and-so, they love to talk about music, things like that. Make sure you set your boundaries, because I have a lot of people during shows, like, and I'm sure everybody has it during shows, they're like PM question mark, which is basically private message. I was doing it at first because like, oh, like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm over here filming and I'm over here PMing people and I'm da-da-da-da-da. I don't PM nobody during broadcast. Like, there's a whole general chat if somebody's asking you to PM, especially people, oh, that's another thing. So I learned that people with gray usernames, at least on the site that I use, people with gray usernames have no tokens. They don't got nothing to spend on you, baby. They don't got a single token. They don't even have a 5-cent token, one single 5-cent token in their account. So they pop up on your broadcast too, and they will be the ones asking the most, dirty talking the most, asking for the most, you know, just trying to get you to private message them. Just ignore them. I learned that we just ignore them. Like, there's no point. Don't entertain them. They cannot do anything for you unless you're trying to like have, sometimes if like maybe if your broadcast is slow and they're just having general conversation and it's something to talk about, you know, because there's still chill people behind those great usernames. But if you're in it for the cash, you just have to be mindful of that. And like I said, that's just on the site I use. But overall, it seems pretty straightforward. Like, you know, just get cute, turn the camera on, do whatever you're gonna do, whether you are doing the full deal, the full package, completely exposed, or you're just sitting there talking in the camera. You just kind of have to find your niche. Give it as like sexy YouTube, but everybody's live, and you get a lot of different types of people. So that said, do I like camming? As I said, I only did this to draw attention to the OF, which has worked, but I much more prefer OF. It's straightforward. I put my content on there, it sits there, I log back in, I see it made me money. Like, that's what I like. I'm like, oh, cool, all right, cool, I got cash today. Camming is like the thing I don't like about camming, it's emotionally and it can be physically exhausting depending on what you're doing. But I'd say it's emotionally exhausting because I feel like a lot of people, now I'm sure it's rewarding for the people who have been here for a while, or they know what they're doing way better than I do, or they have their regulars, you know, they know what their clients like and everything. Especially while you're new or you're small, or if you're not getting the audience you want, it can be really exhausting. And there are definitely like good days and bad days, as I can see. I think a hard part is it's unsteady income, because not only are you sure if you're gonna make money during a live show, but then you have to wait for it to actually pay out on the site. Another thing is I just be getting tired. I get tired. People want to talk and I love to talk, but you have to be careful because you'll be on there just talking and vibing with people for hours, and then you realize you made all of like $10 and you could have been doing something else if you were in it for the cash. So just be mindful of that. Your jaw is probably going to be tired from talking. Your body might be sore from whatever it is you're doing to put on a show, and you don't always have to put on a show. You could just chill. That said, I think it's important to be mindful that how people tip and how many viewers you have in your broadcast and stuff like that is not always an accurate reflection of you, of how beautiful you are, of how interesting you are, of how sexy you are. It's not an accurate representation or reflection of how well your broadcast is doing. It might be a slow night. You might have cheap freeloaders in your broadcast. You know, the good ones might be somewhere else doing whatever. You might have people who don't want to talk, so it's just silent, and you're sitting there like, all right, my viewers aren't talking and I'm not talking and we're just all sitting here not talking. But you just have to be confident. You have to be very, very confident. I feel like camming can be really hard on your confidence, and luckily I know who I am. I know I know. You know, you just have to believe that you're fire, and no matter how many people view your show or tip or how much you make that night, that you're still well worthwhile. Yeah, but it does get exhausting because I'll log off and legitimately be tired. People are so quick to shame and shun sex and sensual work. I be legit tired, and I've worked real jobs. I've worked in the warehouse. I've been a carrier for people with special needs. I've done food delivery. I've done food service. I've done plenty of real jobs and 9 to 5s and whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, my brain be tired with camming, and sometimes my body be sore. Being completely honest. But yeah, that's it. That's my experience, honestly. I don't know if I would keep up with it in the long run. Maybe if I got a bigger following. I got like 400 followers within the first 2 weeks, made $70, and I met some really cool people who are kind of like regulars on my OF now and buy my content and support and send me cool songs to listen to. So I do love that, because I don't want to be in this type of industry and not be vibing with people on some sort of level. I don't want it to be like, oh, I gotta go record content, I gotta go cam, I don't want it to be like that. I want to actually be like, yo, oh, so and so, you're back in the broadcast, hey, what's up, how have you been, etc. Or with the OF, it's like, oh, hey, you know, somebody's in my inbox, how's your day going? Like, I genuinely want to vibe with people. I'm a people person, I'm extroverted. Just because I'm working in this industry doesn't mean I want to be detached and desensitized, because I'm already desensitized to like my own self and my own body. I'm not like, oh, like, you know. So when I post content, I post in a way that like, I'm like, I know somebody would like to see this. And even then, I don't mind being desensitized to myself when I'm working in this industry. I don't want to be detached though. I don't want to feel emotionally and mentally detached, like, oh, I'm, you know, doing sex and sensual work and I'm just here, I'm just going through the motion. And so I'd say that if you are trying to actually vibe with people and make your coins in the process, you know, camming could be rewarding. I'm gonna keep it up, of course, I'm not shunning it. I was just telling you my personal experience with it. It's new, it's definitely new. And ironically, the first time I ever went live was on a site like that. That's crazy. I haven't even been live on Instagram. That's so wild. Anyways, if you have any more questions or conversations or stories, please put them down below. I'd love to hear them and start a conversation. Thank you all so much for watching. Y'all, I'm a motherfucking monsters, and I will catch you on another video. Bye.